Welcome to what's today? Day 16? Think it's day 16. Y'all know I had skipped those 2 days, but it's day 16 of wellness. So if you're new here, I'm Shantae and I share my wellness journey and my journey with fibroids. And I also just share tips and things that have helped me. And lately, I've been filming all these videos in my closet just because it's easy, it's quiet, and yeah, it's just an easy place for me to sneak off to. So I don't normally film in my closet, but I kind of like it because, yeah, this is just my space. But anywho, I was really just thinking, actually, I've been thinking a lot about, I guess, something I'm just gonna call wellness burnout. And it's odd because I have experienced this, and I recently have. I was talking to a client a few weeks ago, and they were kind of describing this. I've actually had a couple people kind of describe this. So I just got finished. I'm pretty out of that now, but earlier this year when the year started, I think I was going through this thing of burnout, but like with my wellness. Actually, I think I was burnt out in general. Um it was just a it's hard for me to like go into that cuz I don't think I realized how burnt out I was cuz I felt like I was doing things to not be burned out in general, but then also when I got laid off of work, I realized that I was actually way more burnt out than I thought I was. And so, but one of the ways that I was burnt out was actually in my wellness routine. And I think that this might be probably a more common issue or something that people who are more like the type A personalities, more rigid people experience. And the reason for that is because a lot of times if you are kind of like that, if you are an overachiever, you're ambitious, all those things, when you commit to something, like when I'm committed to something, I'm committed. I don't care what is, I don't care. I'm committed, right? I don't care what's going on in the world. And so my wellness routine is the same way. I once I create a routine for myself, I'm getting up and doing that thing every day. Now, it might, my energy that I put into it might look different. It might vary a little bit, but I'm going to do all the things every day. So I had gotten into this kind of rut with all my wellness routines cuz for one thing, I think I was actually doing too much. And I know that sounds crazy to some people for you to say, oh, I was doing too much when it comes to my wellness routine, but I really do feel like I was doing too much. I was trying to be an overachiever in that way. And so that's something that you have to be careful of, especially if you are one of my fibroid girlies, because I feel like a lot of us fibroid girlies have a lot of similar personality types, or maybe it's just the people that I attract in this community. But what I noticed or what I realized is that I went from kind of being more relaxed in my everyday life because that's something that I was working on. But then I feel like I kind of replaced that with my wellness stuff. So I'm trying to get up every day at the same time, and just go through the checklist, right? So it got to the point where I felt like I was going through the motions. But when I got laid off, that actually changed things for me because, of course, as you can imagine, not going to a 9 to 5 job or not having a 9 to 5 job is a big shift. It's just a big shift. Especially because I had been working full time for a couple years at this point, but it was just a big shift, and I literally feel like it did something to my brain. Now, I kind of been one of those people where I've worked full time on and off over the years, and I don't necessarily think I experience anything profound, like whenever my employment situation changed, but for whatever reason, this time, well, I have an idea of why this time was harder. I think this time was harder on me just because I think it was just past my time to leave where I was. But I just wasn't going to leave because it was a really good situation. I literally, to this day, do not have any complaints about that work situation. So I was just gonna stick it out because I couldn't rationally, even though I felt in my heart it was time to go, I couldn't rationally justify quitting that job. So I think that's a part of it to me. Also, because I was trying to loosen up in my everyday life and in the other parts of my life, I think that I just put all that rigidity into my wellness routine, right? I made sure that I was checking off all the boxes every single day. And it got to a point for me where, for one thing, when I get laid off, now my routine is kind of different, or my schedule is different. Or really, it wasn't necessarily that it was so different. It was just that now I actually have more freedom and even more freedom and flexibility than before. So I started to reevaluate, okay, am I just forcing myself to do stuff? And also I had to reevaluate all the stuff that I'm doing. Do I need to be doing this? Is this, because at this point I'm like, I'm on a 3 hour, morning routine, and that's crazy. It's not really crazy, but it's just that I started to get to the point where I needed to question why I was doing what I was doing. And so, what I want to encourage you to do, because I don't want to make this video super long, because for one thing, I'm baking cinnamon rolls with my son, and I need to get back to that before the oven timer goes off. But one thing that I want you guys to know is that that does happen if you get into a place where you're feeling like, uninspired. Looks like my light just cut off, but you're feeling uninspired. You're feeling like, you're just getting up and going through the motions. And it's been months of you doing that, because sometimes, like, we do have to do that. We do have to kind of go through the motions. Sorry, guys, if the lighting just changed. My little light, I think it died on me. But sometimes we're just going through the motions, and when you're doing that for more than a couple months, because don't get me wrong, there are days where you're just not motivated. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about, you have a bad day, a bad couple days, a bad week, even a bad 2 weeks. What I mean is, you go like months or an extended period of time where you just feel like, okay, what, like, I'm just doing this. I don't even feel anything while I'm doing this. I'm kind of on autopilot. Like, you don't want to stay in that state for too long, because honestly, I feel like it is kind of a waste of time. And so I had to reevaluate, okay, what am I doing every day as far as my routines, my morning routine specifically, because that's where I do a lot of my wellness things, is they're built into my morning routine. But I had to ask myself, okay, what can I be doing differently? Like, do I have to be doing all this stuff that I'm doing? And I probably cut out quite a few things in my routine, and I added or changed some things too. But now I feel like, okay, either I just needed that change, or I just needed to evaluate or reevaluate where I am in this season of life. And so it's okay if you start to feel like that, but I don't want you to just quit, just stop, just give up on your wellness goals and your wellness routines. That just means it's time to take a shift. And maybe you do, because I did spend a couple weeks where I literally just didn't do much. I finally just gave in, because to this feeling that I needed to do nothing and be trying to achieve and be not trying to achieve anything, because I kind of struggle with this constant state, or this constant being in this constant um pursuit of something. And so I'm really working on that right now. But that was one of the signals for me, was that I had to really just like take a couple weeks. Not, I don't even know if it was a couple weeks, but just not be so rigid about what I'm trying to do as far as my wellness goes, and do things that I'm actually enjoying, that I feel like are bringing value to me. Because I found that I was kind of forcing myself to do a lot of things that I don't necessarily need to do. Like I don't necessarily need that. So I just want to encourage you, if that's a place where you're in, you are feeling stuck, you can leave me a comment below, or even reach out to me. I don't think it's an inbox here on YouTube, but you can leave me a comment below if you need some help kind of getting out of that stuck place. I'm happy to help with that. And I just want to encourage you, especially during this season, during the winter, or we're going into the winter. A lot of times we can start to feel like that, and it's simply because of the season. And so it's okay to say, you know what, this season I'm going to take it a little bit easier on myself, because that is literally that's what nature is telling us to do. It's telling us to get cozy. It's telling us to, that's just the rhythm of this time of year for a lot of us, especially for me. That is my rhythm. I just noticed that I don't really want to do anything this time of the year. So I try to do as little as possible, as little work as my bills, will allow me to do during this time of year. But what I really try to consider is, okay, as long as I am showing up for myself consistently, and for me, that looks just like moving my body every day. Y'all know my obsession with getting my steps in, moving my body every day, making sure I'm promoting recovery for myself. So I like to do the vibration plate, and I do some stuff at the gym sometimes too. But just making sure I'm more so taking care of myself. This season, typically during this time of year, I am not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm not trying to gain muscle. I'm not trying to do or be anything new during this time of year, except for present. That's the only thing that I'm trying to do and be, is present during this time of year. So I just wanted to encourage y'all with that. If that's something that you're experiencing right now, you need some help working through it, let me know in the comments. Or if you got some tips for working through that, let me know that in the comments as well. And if you're watching this live, thank you so much. If you are watching this after the fact, thank you so much too for being here. And please make sure you are subscribed and you like this video so other people can see it too. And I will see you guys tomorrow.